Welcome back, guys, to another episode of the Personal Opinion Podcast with Lauryn and Whitney.
With Whitney and Lauryn.
Hey!
Today, we're going to be talking about leadership. What it means to be a leader. Some of our favorite leaders.
Yes.
Other leaders that we've had in our life.
Yeah.
Yikes.
Yes.
I don't really know where to start.
Well, how has your experience been in your life when it comes to people who have led you and leaders that you have looked up to, as well as how does that shape the kind of leader that you want to be?
I think I have been very, very blessed with some of the leaders that have been in my life. So from a young age, my mom and my sister, two women that I look up to so greatly.
Yep.
And my sister has led me throughout all of our life. Like, she's always been that one little step ahead of me to see what's coming next. And she's helped lead me in my life. And I've gone to her with so many different things that I've gone through, and she's been there for me. And then as far as like some of the coaches and other captains that I've had in my life have really embodied what it means to be a leader for me. So yeah, I've been very, very blessed. I want to talk about some of the leaders that I had in college, especially, I don't want to name drop her, but
No.
I had this one captain who was so understanding. And I think that's probably the biggest trait for me in leaders is they seek to understand you, and they seek to understand what you're going through and how they can help before anything else. I think a lot of people maybe think that being a leader means having it your way or providing what you think is best. In whatever situation you're in, whether good or bad. But I think one of the most important things about being a leader is that you understand your people, who you're leading, and you cater what your next move is, not just what you think is best, but what you think is best for them and is going to get the best results or performance or response from them. And I had someone who embodied that perfectly for me that I got to learn under for a few years. And even as she battled injuries and stuff going on with her family lived pretty far away. And so she didn't get to see them very often. And she was super, super close with them, kind of in the same way that I am with my family. And just seeing how she battled with that. And she was so vulnerable. I think that's another aspect of leadership. But I'm bouncing around a lot.
No, there's many different traits in what can make a good leader. I'm going to start from the beginning a little bit, and I'm going to dive deeper into this book that I've read. But one of the biggest things that I have learned, and through my personal life, is in order to be a leader, you have to lead yourself. So every day, like us becoming business women and getting degrees and wanting to be in friend groups, like kind of what we talked about in our last episode, and just kind of becoming leaders in households and becoming wives and becoming the people that we want to be and growing up and learning, we ultimately have to be able to lead ourselves. And that looks different for everybody. Being able to make the right decisions, being able to make the decisions that not only affect you, but those around you, and being able to pick and choose those people around you that are guiding you and help guiding you. Go ahead. And
it requires a lot of discipline.
Yes.
And being able to correct yourself when needed and not relying on others to correct you. You are very, sometimes hard on yourself. I think that a lot of people really struggle with that when they're in leadership positions, is they're really, really hard on themselves, and they expect the most out of themselves, which I think can be a really good quality. Grace needs to be given at some times, which I think we really struggle with, especially in the student athlete world. But sorry, continue.
No, that's okay. That was good. I think that leading yourself comes with accountability. It comes with self-reflection. It comes with what can I do better? What do I need to do to this person? How can I speak life? How can I speak at the right time? How can I ultimately set myself up to be in the right situations and not put myself in harm as well as those around me? And
there's a lot of emotional intelligence that's required.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't let one bad decision or one negative emotion take over everything that you're saying to your team or your people. You have to be able to let that go, like feel it, yes, let it go, and then realize that there's another thing that we need to accomplish. There's another goal that we need to set, or another thing that needs to be said away from the emotions.
Yeah. I think the biggest thing for me in my life and throughout my leadership journey is ultimately what I have learned from the people who I have followed. And so I think, like, I have taken bits and pieces of these amazing leaders that I've had in your life. You mentioned the couple of ones that you've loved in your life, and the ones like that I look back on that were the best leaders for myself are the ones who made me uncomfortable. The people who challenged me, the people who ultimately saw a bigger version of myself before I could see it.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and I think another thing is being able to vocalize that, like just like joining the coaching world that we've both been in it in some type of degree. And it's ultimately been about, you are the one who needs to vocalize. This is what you could be. I don't think you understand. I'm hard on you because of this is the potential that you have. And ultimately pushing that person or yourself into a bigger realm of life and opportunity. And so being able to look at somebody and communicate that in the way that they can receive it is one of the biggest obstacles. And I think, like, going back to my high school basketball coach, her and I, like, we were competitors. Like we wanted to win. We wanted that. But I ultimately wanted to stay comfortable. I loved the sport that I played, and I ultimately wanted to stay comfortable. And she said, I am going to make you uncomfortable because I see you playing at the college level. I see you going on and owning your own business. I see you being the ultimate leader that you can be. But she pushed me every day, and it made us, like, almost butt heads, but in a really good way.
Yeah.
And so I feel like having that strong woman aspect push me and push me and push me. Ultimately, looking back, I was leading by example without knowing that I was for those around me. And so I think that is the biggest. And also another thing, sorry, I'm jumping around too, but leadership.
There's so much going on in my brain.
Like, leadership is also a privilege.
Oh,
like,
absolutely.
It is like, you ultimately have the highest expectation, and sometimes it can be really hard, and it can feel like the weight is on your shoulders, and it can feel like you're running a business by yourself. It can feel like you're the one that, people praise when stuff happens for the best, but you're ultimately the one who gets the hate. We see that with celebrities all the time, right? Like NBA, NFL, whatever that may be. Like, you see the highest people get criticized, but then you see the highest people get praised as well.
Yeah.
And so that is ultimately a privilege because you don't know what they have gone through and the leaders that they've had in their life that have allowed them to push themselves to get to that point.
Yeah.
What's going on in your brain?
So much. we say this at the beginning of almost every episode, but this is gonna be a really good one that I'm really excited for. This is something that I'm very passionate about.
Yeah.
And it's something that I think one of the really cool things about leadership, and I was kind of thinking about this as you were talking, is you have to relearn it over and over and over and over again.
Yeah.
So thinking about, I'm just going to use, like, my volleyball career as an example. Middle school, I was a leader on both my 7th and 8th grade team. We didn't have volleyball in 6th grade. It's whatever. I'm chilling.
It's fine.
But I was a leader on both of those teams, right? I don't remember if I was captain or not, but I was definitely one of the ones that people would turn to if they had questions or anything like that. Like, I was the organizer of the team.
Yeah.
And then, boom, freshman year hits. I'm the underdog now.
Yeah.
Like, I have to prove myself, prove that I need to be on varsity, and I've got to learn from the older girls. I've got captains now that I'm looking up to, learning from them.
Yeah.
and then growing into a co-captain role by my junior and senior year. And so it's starting at the bottom and then moving your way back up. And then boom, freshman year of college hits. You're the underdog again. Yeah. You're not a captain. You're now learning from other girls. And so it's something that you have to relearn. And I think it's something that you shape as you get older. Yeah. And as you learn from more people and see what you like or dislike about their leadership style. Yeah. But I think some of the best leaders go into that type of environment where they are not the captain or the manager and they lead by example. They lead by learning. They are leaders on their team because they're really, really good followers. Yeah. And they buy into their coaches and their teammates and their captains, and they lead by example each and every day so that when their time comes to be voted captain or whatever it is, it's a no-brainer. Yeah. Yeah. That's good. But yeah. No, it's true because it's not something that you just jump into. Yeah. Like it's not something that, one day you wake up and you're leading by example, you're leading by your actions, you're leading with your words, you're like, you learn to do that in every part of your life. Like you learn to soak everything in, you learn to fail. You learn how to succeed. You learn how you don't want to be spoken to and who you can speak life into. And I think that's a great point that you brought up about you're constantly learning and leading and relearning how to lead. Yeah. Well, and I'm super excited because now I'm in a position where I get to do it all over again. Yeah. Like I'm not going to be the manager of the team that I join. I'm going to have to learn from some people who have been there, and I'm going to have to learn how to do this new job and how my leaders or managers there work with all of that and how they get the best performance and responses out of people. And so I'm going to have to relearn that so that when my time comes, I'm going to be leading by example. I'm going to be working my butt off every day. Right. But when my time comes, when I get to step into that role, I'm ready for it. Yeah. And I think, like, for those of you who don't know, I am currently getting a degree in this. Yeah, she is. Yes. Yes. So I am getting my master's degree in leadership or organizational leadership, cultural leadership. It kind of has a little bit of realm and everything. A little bit of this, a little bit of that. You know. And I think one of the biggest aspects that is talked about throughout my courses is adaptability. Oh, yeah. And I used to think that I was terrible at adapting to new things, trying new things, which in some realms I am. Like, I go to the same places to eat. I don't branch out or anything. But I think that I've grown into a season of being able to adapt without fearing it, without like saying, oh, I'm afraid of change or whatever. In leadership, you're constantly battling the realm of adaptability. Like, you have to adapt on the fly. Like, every single situation and team member is all about adapting. Yes. Like, you have to learn. Here we go with learning. But we have to adapt to people and circumstances and different cultures and different ages and different genders. Like, it's just, you're constantly adapting. And so building that as a strength, it will be huge, like, going down the line. And I'm still working on it with myself. Like, it's something that you're always trying to perfect. And go ahead. And I think something, I'm going to kind of tie it back into what I was saying earlier of like the understanding piece. Yeah. If you make a mistake and you don't understand why it was a mistake. So let's say like you had someone that was from a different culture and you accidentally offended them. Like, that understanding piece is where that comes in of like, I didn't mean to offend you. I want to understand what happened here so that I don't make that mistake again. Yeah. And I think that's what makes a really good leader is they're able to adapt to that culture, but it first takes that like understanding aspect of like, this is my person. Like, I want to be here for you in the best way that I can be. Obviously I wasn't. And so how can I rectify that? Yeah. Yeah. And I think like another big thing is servant leadership. Absolutely. And ultimately
the biggest thing that I've learned about this book, which we'll get into it later, of serving is an act of love. And you have to love to serve. Like, in order to serve those around you, you have to genuinely love them. And I think, like, that just hits hard because it's like, wow, like, it really shows it perspective of whatever you're willing to serve is basically either things or people or stuff that you love. And I think that that's crazy because servant leadership is putting, of course, others in front of you, and being the very last. And it's like, anyways, that just blows my mind because it's so true. Like, you can look back on other aspects and figure out the people that you love to serve and the community you love to serve and everything you like to be involved in. I've always been involved in almost every school that I've been at. I've tried to get involved. And I think it's because I've shown a great appreciation for places that I've been, but also I've tried my best to show love to the places that I've been to.
Yeah, and I think that creates a community of leaders.
Yeah.
So just as you were talking about that, I was thinking about last year, my 2 co-captains, and how it was just such a balance between the 3 of us.
Yeah.
Like, I felt like we were so vulnerable with each other and open and honest about when we were doing really well. Yeah, why is she running away from you?
My mic's running. Good.
About like when we were really struggling, when we were having a great day, what we needed from each other, and we were able to bounce off of each other. So like, I remember there was one conversation that I had with them where I was like, guys, like, I'm not in a great place right now. Like, this week has absolutely sucked. I'm extremely overwhelmed, and I can't be a captain today. I need to just be a player. Like, I need to let things go. I need to just focus on my craft. I need to just be with the girls. I can't take on any of the hard stuff today.
Yeah.
And them being able to be like, that's okay.
Yeah.
That's what we're here for. Is like, you don't have to carry all of this on your own. If today you need to just focus on you, like, we'll be your biggest cheerleader. And like, we've got this. Like, we'll take the reins today. And I think that cultivates a relationship between managers or leaders together, that they can kind of that ebb and flow of like, if this person's struggling, this person's going to take on more, and vice versa. So and I think that ultimately comes back to the 3 of us had so much love and appreciation for each other that they loved me enough to take that on for me. Yeah. And vice versa. I loved them so much that I wanted nothing more than to make them proud. Yeah. And to help them in any way possible. So if they were having a rough day, I was the first one to be like, hey, I feel like you're upset right now. You don't have to say anything. You don't have to tell me what's going on unless you want to, but just know I'm your biggest cheerleader today, and I've got you.
I think bouncing off of that, I've experienced that, but without the words being said. So, like, without vocalizing it, taking social cues and kind of just saying, you know what, like, this person isn't as vocal as they normally are. Like, you can just tell that person's down. I'm going to be the one that picks everything up. Or like, hey, come on. Like, the girl who normally brings the energy and brings, you know, the ability to lead everybody else hasn't really shown that they can do that today. And that's okay. Like, let's, like, you and I do it. Like, not necessarily taking it on by yourself, like, I'm going to do it. But, like, get the people around you together and say, hey, like, everything's still going to be great. If you have any problems, like, communicate them and we'll be good, and let's pick up with each other. And I think that that's, like you said, like, that builds a community of leaders that allows for other people to not feel like the weight of the world is on their shoulders. Absolutely. Even though it's very easy to feel that way. Absolutely. Even if it's not even close to what is actually true. And I think it's kind of one of those things that makes other people have to step up and be better leaders, is like, you know what, like, she's not bringing it today, so I need to make sure I'm at my best, and so let that domino effect kind of trickle down.
I think for me, it was always the communication aspect that was really important. So And this again kind of goes back to like where we're different.
Yeah.
I don't need to fix anything. I just need to know what's going on. So we talked about that a few episodes ago. Like if I'm having a rough day, I don't need all the answers of how to solve it. I just need to sit for a second, realize what's going on. And so I think the same is true for leadership with me, is like, I don't necessarily have to solve it, but I need to be like, hey, I'm going to communicate this with you so that we're on the same page. And then like we'll find ways through it. Mm-hmm. So we don't have to have like a solution, but just, I think that communication aspect is what's really important to me.
Yeah, I agree. And I think ultimately taking it a step further, when it comes to leadership, how important for you in your life has it been that we not only communicate things, but we act behind them? I know that, it's the saying of actions speak louder than words, but I want us to talk about, like, how has that actually been seen and been proven in our lives, and how far does that go for people listening and for us in our lives to speak to each other?
Yeah. The first thing that popped in my head whenever you said that was, I had a part-time job a few years ago, and my manager, she, like, it was one of those situations, like, she'll say all the right things and, like, she'll put on a fake smile, but then you can just tell that there's, like, bad blood there. And, like, there's some hatred and not wanting the best for me. And so that's the main thing that comes into my brain is, like, I wanted to trust her, like, I wanted to lean on her, but if I had a question about anything, I wouldn't go to her because I knew that she was going to look down on me for this or that. Yeah. And so it was putting on a fake face because that's what she was supposed to do with the role that she was in. And then, like, I could tell that.
That stuff is it's very easy to grasp onto.
Oh, but not for everyone.
I feel like if you... And I could be wrong, but I feel like if you are, if you've ever been a leader before, and you have, everybody has been.
Okay, yeah.
Sorry, I want to change that back. Like, everybody has been a leader in some degree, and if you feel like it's very easy to point out fake leaders.
Absolutely.
Once you start diving deeper,
if you have that feeling of like, this person seems like something's going on here. This doesn't. It feels like they're putting on a front.
Yeah,
trust it.
Seriously,
trust it.
Or dive deeper into it and try to learn like more about that.
Yeah,
I would say.
Yeah.
Anyways, what was that? We just talked about it right before this, but if I won't be able to find it in the book, but I opened up a page and it said, visionary leaders bridge the gap between reality and possibility.
Yeah.
Right? Possibility and reality.
Yeah.
So, like, what... I don't know. I think our brains kind of, like, took it and was like, oh, my gosh. But let's talk about that for a second, actually, because what does that quote mean to you, and how has that been real life lived in the aspect of you in your life?
I think in my experience, good leaders have been able to acknowledge the situation that you're in, whether good or bad, and they take it for whatever it is. They don't try to make it better or worse than it is. Yeah. And then they have the ability to get people on the same page.
Yes.
And create a vision for what they want and getting everyone together on that.
Yeah.
Like, it's so hard to describe because it's not something that, I don't know. I'm a firm believer that you can have leadership qualities and not be a great leader. And I'm also a firm believer that it's something that you learn and you grow into.
Oh, that leads me to something else, but I'll let you finish.
And I don't know if there are natural leaders.
I was just about to ask if you believe in natural born leaders.
No.
Okay.
I think you can have traits and attributes, that can make you a great leader.
Yeah.
But I think it's something that you have to learn.
Yes.
And it's something you have to be intentional about. It doesn't
agree.
just happen to you.
Yeah. Yeah. You're not just born with
you don't
the experience.
Just come out as a newborn, just an amazing leader of all people.
Yeah.
No, I don't believe in that. Sorry.
No.
I think that leaders are created by their experiences and the people that they learn from, and how they choose to handle situations and learn and grow and all that.
Yeah.
So
no, I would agree. I think the visionary leadership part is like kind of like what you said, tying everybody together, but it's also every organization, every institution, every place, every business, every team has a vision of what the end goal is.
Yeah.
Right? And so like some of the best leaders tie everybody's roles together and show and tell them how every role is going to help us end up at the end vision. So I think like that is one of the biggest things for me when talking about a visionary leader is visionary leaders, they see the possibility in front of everybody, right?
Absolutely.
And now it is up to them to bring it to life, bring it to reality, show people and tell people about how they're going to get there, what that looks like, what their contributions are to the end goal. And I think like that's what what I just said means to me. And I think I've definitely seen it. And so I've been able to really see it in real life and apply that to my life and how that is structured.
I'm looking for, because you said that and it brought to mind Josh Allen's speech.
Okay.
I think he's an amazing leader in the way that I'm not going to be able to find it because anyways, I would have to watch a video and I'm not going to do that. But the way that he tied together every single role within their organization and how it all matters, and basically saying this MVP award isn't just for me, it's for everyone on my team, because ultimately I wouldn't get this praise without every single person's contribution. Mm-hmm. That's an amazing leader to me, being able to bring to light everyone's contributions. And I think that people who are able to do that, and I think it's difficult. It requires people buying into the vision.
Oh yeah.
Because I've definitely been on teams where, I tried to stress the importance of certain roles, but so let's say, for example, if you're riding the bench, your role is still important.
Oh, absolutely.
Your practice player, your role is still important.
Yes.
Or in an organization, the janitorial staff, or the people doing cold calls, or the people at the top, like every single one of those people
is a piece of the puzzle. Absolutely.
You wouldn't be able to have this entire thing working without the people down at the bottom and the top, like everyone doing their thing. And sometimes it's really hard to buy into that, though.
Yeah. No, it is, because if
when you're the one at the bottom, when you're the one riding the bench, sometimes it's really tough to buy into your role unless you have people who actually believe that your role is important.
Yeah.
For you to look up to and be like, okay.
And I think like kind of changing kind of the word that you used was bottom. Like if you're at the bottom, whoa. But in reality, I honestly don't view it that way. Like I don't feel like anybody is at the bottom and at the top. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like I think that perspective is kind of a sense of the top is looking down at the bottom. But say that you're on a sports team, like if you're at the top, you're not above anybody else on the team. Like if you view it on a sports team, it's kind of like if you're viewing the captains or whatever at the top, like I don't view them as looking down at the people who are on the bench, right? So like for me, I know like in business there's tiers, right? Like you have the the entry level, you have the management, but if management is acting as they're looking down on other human beings, like I personally don't feel like that's necessarily ethically correct. Because I feel like, I mean, of course there's tiers on certain responsibilities and expectations and stuff, but I don't necessarily like when people are higher than others.
Yeah.
So I would say, like, if you're on a sports team, I think that the stigma that you are less than, bless you.
No, you stole it. That was going to be a good one, too.
Sorry. It'll come eventually.
You know that I hate when you do that.
Really?
Yes.
I don't know if I knew that.
If I have to sneeze, I want to get
just
it out.
now, guys. Oh, sorry.
I'm
kind of that way, too,
stole
though.
it. I hope you sneeze.
Oh, whatever. Anyways, Whitney was about to sneeze, and I killed the sneeze, so. For all those who aren't watching, they're just listening, I had to clear that up. Anyways.
I forget.
So.
No, I don't forget about you. I love you if you're listening.
Yeah. Thank you.
Spotify, Apple Music, Amazon.
Anyway, so I think that everybody has a role, and everybody has a piece of the puzzle.
Absolutely.
And I know that some pieces of the puzzle may be bigger than others, but that doesn't make them more important than the other, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So that's kind of the message I'm trying to send.
Just because the CEO is a corner piece doesn't mean that you and when you okay.
Yeah. The puzzle still can't be complete if you lose the smallest piece.
Puzzle cannot be complete. And I would argue if I have a puzzle and I'm missing a centerpiece, that's worse than if I'm missing the corner.
Yeah. Period. Yeah.
I don't know.
Anyways.
Yeah. Let's move on.
Should we go to our segment, or do you want to wait?
I want to.
Do you want to go?
Yeah.
Do you want to say what the segment is?
I want to say it.
Go ahead.
We are starting a brand new segment here on Personal Opinion Podcast.
Yes.
And we're calling it Flip Off.
So,
Flip off.
Hey. We read a book. And now we're gonna flip it off. Hey. Anyways.
So, what we do in this brand new segment, and we'll continue this as we go on, if one of us has a book that we really, really like and we want to share some quotes or inspiration from this book, what we're going to do is we're going to randomly open to a page.
Yes.
Boom. Read something that's in it. And then we're going to.
Yes. That was good.
What did we say? We're going
to go off on it.
We're going to go off on it. So, boom. Flip, we go off. We're going to flip off this book. Let's introduce the book.
Anyway. The book is by Jenni Catron, and it's called The 4 Dimensions of Extraordinary Leadership.
Show them the cover. Really show them.
Yep. If you can't see it, it is a white cover with red and black lettering. Anyways, so basically this helps you learn the power of leading from your heart, soul, mind, and strength. And so, anyways, so this segment, I'm going to be flipping through the pages, and whatever page I land on, you say stop. I'll let you say stop. Okay?
Stop.
Okay. Wow, that was quick. Okay, and I underline in my books, so I am going to read an underlined part of the page, and we're going to talk about it.
Sentence, 2 sentences, anything?
Okay, ready?
Yeah.
Great leadership is rare because it takes work. It takes intentionality. It requires sacrifice.
Yep.
It takes resolve. Sorry. I don't know English. It takes resolve. It involves heartaches, disappointments, and mistakes. It requires apologies. It entails a daily dose of humility. It means relentless growth and frequent failure. That's good.
Absolutely.
That was a whole paragraph. Sorry, but I underlined all of it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Being a leader is tough.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're going to get the praise on the good days, but on the bad days, you're going to...
We kind of covered all that.
Yeah.
Intentionality is big. Yeah.
Here. May I?
Yeah.
I want to hear your thoughts.
I think that the biggest thing in that is sacrifice. because it is going to take a lot of sacrifice of time, of words, of thoughts, of stability sometimes. It takes a few different things that people aren't always able to give, and you have to battle heartaches and disappointments, and you have to feel like the disappointment sometimes, even though it might not be true. And so just being able to come back to earth and being able to get over your pride and apologize to people as well is a big part of leadership.
I want to talk about the word failure.
Please.
Failure is such a blessing.
Yeah.
Failure is such a blessing. You cannot fail unless you're trying something new, difficult, scary, fun.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, failure means that you're trying, and it means that you're trying something that not everyone can do. Because if everyone could do it, you would never fail. Woohoo, great. Yeah. But everyone's already done it, so there's no point. Mm-hmm. Failure means that you're going for something really awesome, and you're going for a new goal, and you're putting yourself out there, trying something new. And frequent failure is fine as long as you are learning from it and able to flip the page and go on and find a new way to fail until you succeed.
Yeah, that's good. Should we do another one?
Yeah.
Okay, you do it this time.
Oh, me? Oh.
Yeah, I'll tell you when to stop.
Okay, yeah.
Stop. Any line that you might feel is good.
The important principle about stewardship is that it's not about the amount we've been given. It's about managing well what we have.
Wow. That's good. What are your thoughts?
I think about teams who, like the rinky-dink teams that don't have a whole lot of skill or training, or they're all young.
Or really good facilities.
Yeah, they have bad
anything
facilities.
Like that. Yeah.
They have a brand new coach. They have
a brand new management staff.
Yeah.
A brand new CEO, a brand new environment.
But they have people who are able to bring out the best qualities in whatever they have and put them together to make them successful.
Yeah, that's good.
And I think I'm going to put on my coaching cap a little bit. I think some of the best coaches are able to do that. Mm-hmm. They're able to see every single strength and weakness on a team and within their girls. Yeah. And they're able to coach them up to a point where they can all build off of each other.
Yeah, absolutely. Complement each other.
Complement each other, exactly.
Yeah, that's good.
I like that. Back to you.
All right, then.
Flip offer.
You tell me.
Go to page 17.
Oh.
No, that's not flip off. That's page turn off.
You tell me.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. I'm actually going to read the quote. This is a fresh chapter page. Okay. It says, "Lead with all your heart. Trust men and they will be true to you. Treat them greatly and they will show themselves great." You want me to read it again?
Yeah. Yes, please.
Trust men and they will be true to you. Treat them greatly and they will show themselves great.
Absolutely.
By Ralph Waldo Emerson.
Trust men and they will show what?
They will be true to you. I like the second part because I feel like if you treat people with kindness and with honesty, I think that you will ultimately get the best out of them.
Absolutely. I'm not going to trust a captain who says one thing to my face and then stabs me in the back.
Yeah. That's true. You don't want that.
You don't want that.
You don't want that in any aspect. Okay.
Do we want to do one more? One more.
Okay.
Sorry, I'm just going to grab all these. Okay. If you can't see, I'm flipping through I was trying to get all the pages. Okay, ready, and yeah.
Stop.
There's only one thing. As a spiritual leader, you must define the God-honoring attributes of a follower of Christ and then consider whether your daily actions display these qualities well.
Wow.
Let's talk about leadership through the eyes of Christ.
Okay.
Genuinely, well, he's Jesus, so. Like, the greatest example of servant leadership, hanging out with people that no one else wanted to be around. Loving people that no one thought that he should, spending time with the bottom, and genuinely loving.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that if we embody that, we're unstoppable.
And I think, like, loving and caring about people and not thinking about what you can get in return
absolutely
is big as well. You know, like, God resembles, like, the ultimate act of love, and sending his son to die on the cross for all of our sins is
self-sacrificing.
Yes. Like, that, I mean, that just, I could just leave it where it's at. Seriously.
Yeah.
Because that's just the biggest act of love that anybody can do, but it also represents how we want to grow and continue to be the best versions of ourselves because of what the embodiment of love and trust and leadership has been.
Yeah.
And has been represented to us.
Yeah, and I think if you are moving into a leadership role and you think it's going to be easy and you think it's going to be about you, it's not.
Yeah.
It's not about you. It's about being there for people. It's about having hard conversations. Mm-hmm. It's about redirecting when necessary and redirecting in private. I'm a firm believer. You praise in public, you discipline in private.
Mm.
If there's a hard conversation that needs to be had, if someone needs to be called out for something they're not doing right, I think that needs to be in private.
Yeah.
I think in public, if something's going on and you need to do that sort of like, hey, nope.
Yeah.
Like, that's okay. But I think if there's a really hard conversation that needs to be had and potential embarrassment could come to that person from having that conversation around all their peers, then we need to wait.
Yeah.
It's a conversation that can wait. And, yeah.
Yeah, that's good.
Leadership is difficult. It's a process. It's learning, and it's constantly evolving. And I think I want to talk a little bit about. Can I close this?
Yeah.
Are we good with our flip off?
Yeah.
Happy flip off, everyone. We flipped off that book.
Yeah.
One of the best things that I ever heard from my assistant coach. I was
where?
At the school. Shoot. My assistant coach at the school. Where was I? I was really nervous going into my senior year. One of my co-captains had gotten hurt, and the year before that, she and I had really gotten into our rhythm. I'm very much like a fun, enthusiastic. Like, I'm not much of a discipliner. Like, I will if I need to, but I'm much more of the, like, fun, happy go-getty, like, we're going to have fun doing what we're doing.
Yeah.
And my co-captain the year before that, she was a little bit more of the intense type, and I think that we had a really, really good balance there of, like, the fun and the intensity, and we would kind of bounce back and forth, but she got hurt, and then going into that next year, I was really struggling with her being gone, because I was like, I feel like I'm going to have to change my entire leadership style to take on her role, and I don't know how to do that. And I don't know if I can find fun in being that type of leader. Mm-hmm. And she was like, Whitney, there might be days where you're going to have to lean into that side a little bit more. She's like, but you don't have to change your entire leadership style.
Right.
You don't have to change entirely who you are for your team.
Right.
They chose you because of who you are, not because they wanted you to be her.
Yeah.
And so that was one of the greatest pieces of advice that I got was your leadership style is entirely and beautifully your own.
Yeah.
And if you are elected into that role, it's because of who you are, and it's because of that style. Now, there are... Go ahead.
And I am a firm believer that since there are so many leadership styles, everybody is a leader. Like I am not a believer of, oh, that person speaks up the most, that's a leader.
Yeah.
Like, oh, that person does this. Like, everybody can be a leader in their own style because there is so many different ways to do it, and it looks so much different based on people's personalities, experiences, their upbringings, their job titles, all of that. And so limiting somebody to only, this is how you do it.
Only
cookie
being a
cutter.
Leader. Only being a leader because you're an extrovert.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. No.
Not at all. Not at all. Not at all.
Anyways, that's what I had.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah.
Darn it. Where was I? Oh, you're the worst.
Darn it.
I hate that you interrupted for that point. No, but if you're moving into a leadership role, lean into your strengths in that. And if you don't know your strengths, ask your people.
Yeah.
Hey, why was I elected into this role? Or why did you see me succeeding in this? And they'll tell you, like, I think you're really good at X, Y, Z. And then if you want some criticism, which you're gonna get it, you're gonna get criticism, and you're gonna have to learn how to take it, and not take it as something's wrong with you, but take it as people wanting you to be better, and that's a good thing,
right?
But just asking them, like, where do you think I can grow in this role and be better for my people? And
yeah, good. That's good.
Thanks.
Good.
Any other thoughts that you want to provide?
I think so. I have shared many thoughts.
Many thinkings.
What about you?
It's hard. It's tough.
Yeah. It's a privilege.
It's a privilege, for sure.
Lead yourself well.
If you're in a good place with where your team or your people are at, enjoy it. I would say there were some times in my volleyball career where I was so focused on, oh, things are going well, but they need to be better. And so how do I make them better? And I have to, like, micromanage this or that. You don't have to do that. If you're in a good place, and enjoy it with your people and rest in it for a little bit and enjoy those good times, because they don't last forever. And same thing with the lows and the struggles and the whatever situation it is. They're not going to last forever. So
Amen.
Which I feel like that's also my advice for life.
But I would say, recapping all of this up, be adaptable, be able to love yourself, serve yourself, so that you can do that for other people, and ultimately lead yourself the best that you can every single day, because it'll give you the opportunities to learn and grow. And
and if you're wanting to grow, find a mentor. Find someone you can look up to.
Read books
that you like to learn from, and ask them anything, because if they're a good leader, they'll tell you everything. They'll be vulnerable with you. I mean, that's how it was with my assistant coach. I wanted to learn from her, and so I asked her all the questions. And we had some great conversations and really hard conversations, which were also great. But
all right, Dan.
My assistant coach, if you're watching this, I love you and I miss you.
You're great.
And we're going to go get lunch. So
see you soon.
I'll see you.
Anyways, that wraps up this episode. Right?
Yeah.
You're done? Okay.
Yes, sorry.
Well, thank you guys for listening, and make sure you follow us, because I think down the line, we want to put out some content that is exclusively for certain platforms.
Yes. Yeah.
So you don't want to miss it. Make sure you see it. Like it, comment, subscribe. And always don't forget, you can reach out to us and ask us questions or give us topics to talk about. And let us know what you guys think.
We're on Instagram and TikTok at podcast.personalopinion, or
YouTube and Facebook at Personal Opinion Podcast.
There we go. As always, I've got your back.
I've got yours.
And we've got yours.
And we've always got yours.
Always, 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 always.
So we'll see you guys next time. Bye.